Hi, today we're going to do an activity inspired by cave art, pictographs, and petroglyphs created by cavemen and ancient civilizations. So what you need to get started is just a piece of brown paper like this. Any type of old shopping bag will do. Doesn't need to be straight. You're just going to tear the edges around the edge right here, just like this. It's okay if it's totally imperfect because we're just going to crumple it up at the end. So what we're going to do is just like in the photos of the cave art that we saw, we're going to use our hand to create our mark. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to put your hand down and you're going to use a pen, a pencil, a marker, anything you have. I used oil pastel like this to blend out, but if you don't have oil pastel or charcoal at home, that's totally fine. So use whatever you have. I'm going to use a pencil to get started. I'm just going to trace my hand like this. You hold your hand down still. Don't move your fingers. Don't move your hand at all while you're doing it. Go around. Okay. And then you have the outline of your hand. And so now we're going to use value, if you guys remember what value means, to create this dramatic look like we saw in the picture of the when we were looking at cave art together. So I'm going to use a black crayon, but if you have purple or blue or anything else, that will work fine. You can use colored pencils. What you're going to do is just outline that. Now, if you were only using pencil, you wouldn't have to outline it again. You would just create a dark shadow from the outside of that line you made. Very dark next to the line you made, and then getting lighter and lighter as you move out. But I'm going to make it more, I'm going to make it have more contrast by using this crayon. It would look cool if you had a different color, actually. Probably if you tried it with blue or brown or red. So do you remember how I told you about how they created these marks? They chewed up the charcoal in their mouth and then put their hand on the wall, and they chewed up the charcoal with their saliva, and then that's how they created this outline of their hand, because where their hand was, it stayed clean on the wall, but then when they spit the charcoal, it went around everywhere else except where their hand was on the wall. So that's the effect we're going for. I'm sure when they were doing that, they got some gross spit mixed with charcoal all over the back of their hand, but then they just washed it off. I wonder who invented that way of creating art. People still like to finger paint, so not much different. Okay, and so do you see how I'm creating a shadow? And I'm just applying less pressure as I come out. It's going to be darkest along the edge, and that's going to, as it moves out, it's going to get a lighter value. And when you're done with this part, you can add any other types of symbols or pictures that you want. Maybe you want to write something inside. Maybe you want to do another image of a hand, like coming over. Whatever you want to do. And so you see how it doesn't fade? It looks better when you try to make a nice, smooth transition or gradient going from a dark value to a light value. It makes it look more authentic, right? Okay, and if you don't have this brown paper, you can just use white paper. You can use any type of paper. So when you're done with this, say I want to add some cool symbols. And then when you're done, something like that. Really squish it up. When you open it, it looks like a cool ancient artifact from prehistoric times. Cool. All right, good luck.